Welcome everyone to Midwest Tree ID. On this channel, it is my mission to help you learn an abundance of trees that grow right here in the Midwest, and some key features on how to identify them. There's just one thing to clarify before we begin. We're not going to be throwing hatred or ridiculing any of the species that we're going to be talking about. But we do, however, want to encourage thoughtful conversation in the comments about personal experiences and things like that. Please try to remember that everything has value and that we are here to enjoy nature and everything it has to offer. So without anything else, let's jump right in. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're in Urbana, Illinois, and we are taking a look at Maackia amurensis. This is Amur Maackia. Definitely going to be a really cool tree, a nicer, smaller tree to add to your landscaping. Really can't go wrong with this one. So it's going to be very, very similar to some of the trees we've already talked about in terms of its pinnately compound leaves with its rather, well, these are all chewed up leaflets, but rather ovate leaflets here. And these ones are kind of waxy. They have a bit of a waxy texture to them when they're mature like this. So that kind of gives them a nice thick coating on them, makes them much more resistant to some of the other leaf chewing pests and even a lot of the wind damage that we sometimes can get with some of these. And typically you're going to find this one has 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 leaflets. Sometimes they can have a little bit more than that. Sometimes they can have a few less. That's going to be pretty standard though for them to have a range of leaflets. But let's go ahead and take a look at the bark, and we'll take a look at the habit of these ones here behind me, and we'll go from there. So I really like the bark of the Amur Maackia. It's going to have this cinnamon colored bark, and it's going to have light furrowing kind of going on. And that's really, this is a relatively younger specimen, but that is pretty consistent even in older specimens, that it kind of has these little bumps on them as well, these little nodules. But it's sometimes they can have a bit of exfoliating bark as well. This one, not really a whole lot of peeling going on, but you do see some of this fissuring happening here on this one. But yeah, very nice bark. So the habit, it can be a little bit of a squatty tree, although that one's got a nice longer trunk to it than some of the other ones I've seen. But they can have quite a good broad canopy, kind of dense. They do have, although they did not flower this year, I was waiting for them to flower before I did this video. I don't think I'm going to get the flowers this year, which is a bummer. But they do have white candlestick-like flowers that every pollinator under the sun absolutely loves. And then they form a nice flat seed pod, very similar to the American Yellowwood seed pods that we'll talk about here in a later video. But yeah, you know, they're going to have that kind of broad canopy, kind of a rounded shape. As they get a little bit older, they're going to be a little bit more spreading, you know, have a nice effect to them. So as I said earlier, Amur Maackia is a great tree to add to a pollinator garden. Bees, butterflies, everything pretty much loves this tree when it's in flower. And they typically flower in late June into July. So they're kind of overlapping a little bit with the golden rain tree in terms of their flowering time. So that can be kind of a nice contrast if you have both species kind of going at the same time. The Amur Maackia is another really rare species to find. Definitely not the most common to find in a landscape right here in the middle of town. But they are definitely one for your collector to snatch up. So I've got them going in the nursery. So if you are interested in Maackia, let me know. I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one, guys. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you guys next time.